And so can you feel how when you make up your mind that you're going to start releasing the resistance by reaching for the relief of the next emotion, now you develop this pattern of setting new set points, achieving new set points, where you stand more and more in the place, in the vibrationally offering place, where law of attraction is answering a vibration that when it comes back to you in the form of emotion, and when it comes back to you in the form of manifestation, it's going to please you in a powerful way. Did you hear that? When it comes back to you in the form of vibration, when it comes back to you in the form of emotion, when it comes back to you in the form of manifestation, it will please you when it gets there. Law of attraction is the most powerful law in the universe. And what it says is, we'll make it personal. I will bring to you an exact vibrational match of that which is your dominant set point on every subject of your life. How you feel about everything will continue to be compounded by what comes back to you. So then you say, what we heard from Jerry over and over again, especially in the beginning, I did not feel that way until such and such happened. And we said, there must have been a rumbling in there somewhere, or such and such could not have happened. In other words, nothing comes to you that does not have a vibrational basis. So when you start making the decision, when it is really, really important to you that you feel good, you cut through so much confusion. You can trim years of therapy off of your experience. You can trim years of going without things that you want. Just get into this place where little by little you begin to expect that things go your way, because that's what the universal forces say. Law of attraction says every point of consciousness, which includes the genius human right down to the one-celled amoeba in the ocean. It includes every cell in your body. Every point of consciousness is having an experience right now, a comparative experience. You often don't think that because you don't think the amoeba can communicate, or the baby, or the cells in your body. But there is a language that goes far beyond your words, a vibrational language of communication. And so every point of consciousness is having its experience, and every point of consciousness is developing natural preferences. And as each preference is born, Source hears it and answers it, and the evolution of all that you see around you is as a result of that. Isn't it wonderful? There's no competition. Source energy is big enough. You could not deprive someone else of something by wanting it and getting it. You never say, oh, I've been well for so long, I think I'll be sick for the next 10 years, and allow people who have been sick to be well. You never say that. Why not? Because you do not believe that depriving yourself of wellness would leave more for them, or that your being well is depriving someone else. And that is true of everything. It is true of abundance. It is true of energy. It is true of all things. There is no competition. But there is vibrational resistance in your own energy field. No one outside of you ever negatively or positively impacts you. Oh, they can influence you to a vibration. In other words, you can witness something and by your attention to it, begin to vibrate as a result of it. And as you do, you may set up some frequencies that then impact your point of attraction. But you never, ever, 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 ever do that without having your guidance system let you know what you're doing. And so if you make a decision that you want to feel good, then what you're saying is, I'm going to be aware when I introduce resistance into my experience. So you get up, you're feeling good because it's natural that you do. While you slumbered last night, your consciousness reemerged into non-physical, a sort of refreshing course in all instances. In other words, a refreshment of who you are, an alignment of the energy of your body. You reemerged into non-physical, not different than you do when you die, except it's a quicker return. And now you've made that return back into your physical body. And now you say, I think I will lie in my bed and bask for a little bit. So you lie in your bed and you look for things to appreciate. And you continue to maintain your connection to source energy as you find one thing after another to appreciate. And then you get up and you lovingly prepare something for yourself and maybe someone else you love to eat. And as you're eating, you're appreciating what you're eating. And then you go off for 5 or 10 or maybe 15 minutes and you quiet your mind with the intent of just stopping all thought, meaning stopping any resistance meaning aligning completely with who you really are. And now you are in such utter alignment and you feel great. And now you turn on the television. And there is a headline about something that is happening that you have no control whatsoever about. And there is a dramatization of something that is happening in some part of the world. And as you watch it, you feel empathy for those people that are having a flood or having a famine or having a bomb dropped on them or whatever it is. And you begin to feel discomfort moving through you. That's your guidance system saying to you, please return to the highlighted route. That's your guidance system saying to you, this isn't who you said you were. This isn't who you were as you slumbered and reemerged with Source. This isn't who you were as you appreciated in your bed this morning. This isn't who you were as you were appreciating your food or as you were meditating or as you were loving your mate or kissing your children. This isn't who you were. Who you were then is who you really are. You're supposed to feel good. And these thoughts that have been influenced by this source are activating within you vibrations that are foreign to who you really are. And we, your guidance system, are now letting you know that the reverberation is off. You've introduced static into your vibration. You're doing it to yourself. Please return to your highlighted route. Please return to your highlighted route. So you turn off the television and you haven't completely returned to your highlighted route because what you saw, you're pondering. You're thinking about it, and then the telephone rings. It's your sister. Did you see that? Please return to your highlighted route. Please return to your highlighted route. Your guidance system is saying, and you say to your sister, yes, I saw it, but I don't want to talk about it. And your sister says, well, you know, we just can't ignore these things. What kind of citizens would we be if we did not give our attention to what's happening around our world? And your guidance system is whispering, happy citizens, happy citizens. We know you are torn. You are torn between living the glorious life that you are here to live and helping those around you who are not living such glorious lives. But what we are wanting you to understand is that if you do not care enough about the way you feel, that you demand of yourself that you stay connected to who you really are, you don't have anything to give any of them anyway, you see. You can join them in disconnection and you can all suffer in that together, but you cannot assist someone unless you are stable yourself. So you don't hang up on your sister and you don't embarrass her because she is looking at things differently. You just say to her something softly like, you know, I felt so good when I woke up this morning and I was so in love with life. And I feel that this is the way I'm supposed to feel. And then I turned on the television and I felt like my knees had been knocked out from under me. I felt terrible. There really isn't anything that I can do about it. And I got to thinking, if I suffer all day, will it change anything for them? And I have to say to you, the answer is no. I have never, ever suffered myself back into well-being, and I've never helped anybody else back into well-being through suffering either. If my suffering would help them, I would suffer for them. But my suffering has never helped anyone. It's a myth. Who asks us to suffer anyway? You might say to your sister. Some misguided being. Someone not in alignment with who they are. Someone not in connection with Source in the moment. Someone lost and reaching for something, but not someone in alignment with Source energy. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you.
Abraham, I love you. I want even a stronger connection with you. I talk to you a lot, and you're with me a lot. And I appreciate you so much. Can you help me hear you clearer?
Yes, we can, but we want to say it to you in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
For a little while, just feel your connection and don't try so hard to hear it.
Okay.
In other words, sometimes people watch Esther and they try to understand Esther's relationship with Abraham, which is hard for anyone to do as you witness it. You sort of have to be on the inside of it to understand it. And their conclusion is that in her ability to interpret blocks of thought, that she must have a better, stronger connection than some others. And what we want you to understand is that the fact that she can express verbally the blocks of thought that we are offering does not mean that her connection is stronger. It just means that she's in a place of interpreting the connection. We want you to think in terms of interpreting your connection with Source for a while, maybe for a month or two, through emotion. In other words, when you feel joy, stop and say, connection. When you feel anger, stop and say, I'm holding myself apart. When you feel interest, stop and say connection. When you feel clear-minded, when you feel joy, when you feel love, when you're enjoying something that you're doing, when you're laughing at something and really feeling good. In other words, begin to make the association of the connection through your emotions. Yes. And then let the conscious thoughts that flow through you follow. All of you have inspiration that flows through you. All of you. You are channeling, if you will, impulses or intentions from broader perspective all of the time. The majority of your physical bodily movements are about that. In other words, the function of your body, the communication between your organs, even your balance, the way you move about, the way your eyes move about, the information that comes to you. There is so much potential information in any moment in time, and yet you are often guided right to the piece of information you need. Yes. You're walking down a busy sidewalk and you look right at the only marble that you could have tripped over. Or you're driving down the freeway with hundreds, maybe thousands of billboards and signs, and you focus on none of them except the one that is meaningful to you. In other words, there's all kinds of communication that is happening. You are so much more guided and so much more cared for and so much more in the awareness of Source than any of you give yourselves credit. But when you beat the drum of, I want more, I want more, I want more, the vibration that you're emitting is, I've got not enough, I've got not enough, I've got not enough. And then you miss so much that is there. So the way to increase anything is to acknowledge whatever little bit of it you see. Jerry and Esther have been playing a very fun game with each other. And it has been not only fun, but very productive for them as they have come to realize that whatever they got going on in their vibration, they are in the process of attracting more of it. And they are also keenly aware that when they're talking about something, they've got it going on in their vibration. Yes. So they've been saying to each other, when one or the other of them will comment about something wanted or not wanted, do we want more of that? And about 80% of the time when they first started playing the game, they realized that they were just objectively commenting on things that normal people would comment on, like that guy's weaving all over the road, or the traffic isn't flowing very well, or there's no good produce in this store, or, and on it goes. And then when they began saying, and do we want lots more of that? They began realizing how many drums they were beating and how much future they were organizing in directions other than what they really wanted. And so we would begin playing that game if we were standing in your physical shoes.
Wonderful.
And as you begin doing that, you will begin noticing that you have many opportunities and you take advantage of them for connection in every day. It's just a conscious deciphering of the way you feel and a conscious directing because of wanting to feel the way you want to feel toward things that feel the way you want to feel. In other words, do we want more of that? Do we want to have more of this experience and have more of these feelings? And if the answer is yes, then talk about it incessantly. Yes. And if the answer is no, then stop in the middle and laugh about it. And don't beat up on yourself or on the other one. Just laugh and say, maybe not. How about this?
Thank you. You made it very clear.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now what? On the aisle? On the aisle.